Okay, we now have a products table in our dev database and we've created a product in there. Let's now go ahead and create a page where we can go and look at a single product and then click a button to buy it now. And so what I'm going to do is create a public folder in the project root. So if I close this, we're in the project root and this will be in public. And then I think a logical way to go with this is to go inside of that public folder and create a products folder. Just to keep our site segregated and logically separated really, and then inside of there, in order to view a single product, we'll have a view page. So we'll just call it's just a normal PHP file, not a class or anything, and we're just going to call it view.php. Okay, and so now we actually need to drop some HTML in here in order to be able to view a product, and then what we'll do is we'll plug in some PHP to dynamically grab our one and only record from the database. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go over to my trusty Bootstrap, get Bootstrap 5. My goal here is really just to get something on the page, something very basic where I can check that it is dynamically loading the name, price, description, etc., and that we can click a buy it now button, which will take us to a checkout. So this isn't going to be anything very extravagant. However, like I said at the beginning, I am planning on open sourcing this to you guys, and so I will accept pull requests. If someone can come up with a better design than what I come up with here, then I'll pull it into the project. Okay, so this one is called Sticky Footer Navbar. I think I have used this one before, and it serves the purpose really. So then I right click and go to page source, and I'm just going to grab all of this, copy it, go over to my view file, and then paste it in there. And so we can actually go and look at this now. So just get rid of this space here. Let's just check our work as we go along. So I'll move into the public folder, and I'm just going to start up a PHP built-in server. So PHP s localhost, and then we'll click on this, and then we're looking for products, and then view.php. Okay, and so you'll notice the styling is a bit out, because if we actually look at the source code here, we need to get this CSS. So if we go back to the Bootstrap front page, home page, and just down here we have the CSS. So I'll copy that, and then I'll go back to my project, and then in the head I'll just remove this. And so this should look a bit better. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's exactly the same. There might be another bit which I need to grab. I'll grab this styling here. Yep. And there's another sticky footer navbar CSS which I need to grab. So you just have to bear with me while I work through this stuff. Okay, and I'll click on this sticky footer navbar CSS, and there's just one style there, so I'll grab that. And I think this will add the padding by the looks of it, so that should give us that little bit of spacing at the top. Let's go and have a look at this again. Okay, great stuff. So now it's exactly the same as the example on the Bootstrap site. And what I tend to do now is just start removing stuff, because I don't actually need most of this. So I'm just going to have my own little logo there. I'll get rid of all these links, get rid of everything that I don't need, or comment it out, and if I need it again later, then I'll put it back in there. So down to the header, and what I'm going to do is actually cut the entire header and just have it as a site header template. So grab all of this, cut that, and then in public I shall create an includes folder, includes, and then I shall call this site header. So site hyphen header.php, and then I'll paste that in there. And in fact what I wanted to do was actually include the head as well. So all the way down from the very top to the end of the head section. So we'll cut that, and then we'll go back over to site header, up to the top, and we'll paste that in there. And then what I need to do is go back to the view file, open some PHP tags, and include my site header. So include and then it is one and it is in includes site header. So hopefully we should run this and it should look exactly the same still. Okay, so far so good. Now what I want to do is get my Bootstrap file, so require once, and this time we are going up 2 steps, so 2, and then that is in. Go and try this again. Okay, nothing broke there, so I'm guessing that that was correct. And then what we'll do here is we shall just dump out our entity manager just to make sure, just to give us that sanity check that we are actually pulling in our Bootstrap file and we have access to the entity manager, because we will need that to get our product. So I'm going to say dd, and we should have auto loading, because if you remember in our Bootstrap file, one of the first things we added was our auto loader. Okay, so that means I can use my Symfony var dumper, the die dump function, and we're just going to die and dump the entity manager. Okay, back to the browser, give this a refresh. Okay, great stuff. So there you can see our entity manager. We can dump out PHP stuff into our browser. So far so good. Now what we want to do is actually replace the heading with the name, and another thing we'll actually do is in our site header. Okay, so here's the title. We want to replace the title with the name as well. So the first thing we shall do is we shall get our product from the database. So I want to have a bit of auto-completion to make sure I'm calling the right methods. If you're not familiar with Doctrine, or not too familiar with Doctrine, I recommend that you do this also. So we'll say em equals entity manager, and what that does, it gives us the ability to do this with our code comments var, and we're saying that that will be an instance of entity manager, and so I'll just get rid of the squiggly lines, disable inspection. And so now we'll get auto-completion. Anytime we use em, we can get some auto-completion from PHP Storm. So em get repository, and the repository is product class, and then off that we want to do find one by. In fact, we can use find ID. We know that it has an ID of 1. If we look at our product that we put in there, it has an ID of 1, so we don't need to use find one by here. We can just say find, and that takes the ID. Okay, and so that means that we should have a product. Just excuse me, I don't have any error handling in this just yet. I'm just staying happy path for the moment. We'll put some error handling in later, but at the moment this is just rapid development, getting our product, dropping it in the page, showing the name, showing the description, etc., and then we can focus on error handling later on. Okay, so product, and then I think we're pretty good here. What we'll do is we'll say title equals product get. In fact, we'll also have some auto-completion here, get name, and then we can go to our site header, and in here we can just echo out the title. Okay, because we've made the title available here, we're going to say the title is actually the product name, which means that when we include our site header, the title can be used in that file. And then what we want to do is replace some of these bits. So I can actually just borrow that. So in there we shall say product get name. For the description, we'll just remove all of this stuff. We don't need any of that. And we will say product get description. We also want to display the price before the product name. So what we will do here is we shall say span style equals color, and we'll go with red. Our $, and then this will contain the price, so we'll drop the price in there. Product get price. Okay, so this is becoming a bit of a mess. It might be a bit hard for you to read, but basically what we've done is we are echoing out the price and then the product name in the header, and then after that we are echoing out the description. Okay, let's go and see if this has worked and what it looks like. Okay, so this looks pretty good, except for the fact that the $ also needs to be in red, and this drum kit does not cost $94,400. Get this number into dollars, I need to divide it by 100, and we'll also use some number formatting to display the decimal places correctly. So I'm going to use PHP's built-in number format function, and what this does is it formats numbers, believe it or not. We're going to format it to do decimal places, but before we do that we need to divide the price by 100, and then it's a comma, and then the second argument is a number of decimal places. Let's check this out. Okay, that's looking better. We now need to move our $. We had it in the wrong place. It needs to go inside of the span if we want that to be read. So just before we print out the price, we've moved it to that location. We're slowly getting there. Then what I want to do is, I don't want the search box. I don't want this, I don't think, for the time being. So we'll not get rid of it completely. I'll just comment it out. And also these links, home link disabled, so home link disabled are all part of this UL that we see here. Let's do the same there. We'll just comment it out for now, and then if we want to put it back in there later on, we can always do that. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, good. The final step we need to do is we need to add our Buy It Now button here. So over in our view.php file, just underneath the description here, we're just going to add an A tag. So the href will be products, and then what we're going to have is just a page called single product checkout, because at the moment all we're doing is we're allowing someone to buy just a single product or a quantity of just that product. When we actually get to adding stuff to the basket, then we want to have a different checkout page than this one. It's going to work completely differently. So this is just to get this minimal product going. So in the products folder, I'm going to create a file called single product checkout. Okay, and in here we shall just echo, for the time being, just some placeholder text, check out page. Okay, and then this will be, just copy that, single product checkout PHP, and we shall say ID equals, and then we will echo out the product ID. So product get ID, and what we want to do is make sure that this is styled as a button, so it's class equals btn, and then btn, and we'll say primary, which should give us a blue button, and we'll just say the text will be buy it now. Let's go back and have a look at this. Okay, so we have a buy it now button. When we click on this, it takes us to our products single product checkout page. Okay, so we'll leave it there for that one. As you can see, when you start getting into front-end stuff, it can take a lot longer than actually doing the back-end stuff. In the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to actually remove this hard coding because we've hard coded the value 1 here. We're going to get this dynamically using query parameters, and then we'll have a look at what consists of an order and how an order relates to a product. So I'll see you in that one.